we're live. Hi, everybody. What do you like to do when life is a little bit crazy? I like to tinker, and specifically I like to tinker around with my sewing machines, my vintage sewing machines. So here's what we're working on tonight. It's this lovely lady, Babylock 5280E. She's from, I want to say the 90s, maybe the 80s. And if you're not familiar, this is an overlock machine, also called a serger. So I've fiddled around with it a little bit, and I've made some progress. I even threaded the doggone thing all by myself. I think the threads are in there right, but I'm having some trouble getting the stitching to look just the way I want it to look. So there's a couple different things I could fiddle around with. Number one, I could try changing the needles in here. So a serger's got two needles, a left one and a right one. And it looks like these are overlock needles. Don't know much more about it than that. It says DC by 1F, number 14. And there's two in here. I don't know if both needles are the same as each other, or I really don't know anything about it. But here, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna pull my glasses on, get this girl over here. You know what her name is? Sergy Durgy. No, is that what it is? No, it's Sergy Dirty. I forget her name. Let me know in the chat, in the comments, if you could think of a name for this serger. So let's get these needles swapped out. And let me get a light over here. And then let me get my glasses on. Can you all see what we're looking at? That looks okay, I think. Ah. Where are my eyeballs? Here they are. Oh my gosh. I have like a thread attached to my glasses. Okay. So I've got this all threaded up. And again, I have no clue if what I'm doing with this thing is right or wrong. But I've been giving it a go. What is going on here? Okay, so can you all see that this is a thread looped here through, this is the lower looper, and there's a thread through this hole up here. Let me get that out of the way. Can you see that? That's the upper looper. So I think these guys are good. Now what happens is the needles go up and down. Can we see okay? The needles go up and down, and the threads get locked in. So one thing that needs to be correct is the timing on a serger, because you need to make sure that these needles are coming up and latching in to the threads that are being pulled through by the loopers down below at the right time. So that's part of it. I think my timing is okay. I kind of fiddled around with that once before. Hi, Peanut, welcome. We're trying to get my vintage serger to work, and we're changing out the needles real quick to see if that's going to help. So let me get a screwdriver, and let's see what we can do here. So maybe before I do that, or while I'm looking for this screwdriver, which, here it is. All right, so real quick, let me show you my recent efforts at serging. Here's where I started, and you can pretty clearly see this is the thread from the left needle, this is the thread from the right needle, and for whatever reason, the looper threads, it's supposed to also catch through here, and it wasn't. Now, I didn't really know what was happening, so at that point, I was like, let me fiddle around a little bit with up here, how these threads are threaded through there. I kind of fiddled around, And then I did some more test stitches, and it kind of looked like this. I was like, well, that looks a little better, because now at least the thread is catching. I was like, I think that's some improvement. I don't know for sure, but it looks a little better. And we kind of got some of this. I'm like, what's going on? Now, my most recent effort is this guy. And I don't think it looks great, but I'm curious to see what it's going to look like once I replace these needles. Because it kind of seemed like maybe, I mean, down here especially, it's like maybe the needles aren't always poking through right. Something weird is going on. So, I mean, I've got 2 needles here. I can easily just pop out the old ones, put in some new ones, and see. Am I still connected? My alarm just went off. Y'all can still hear me, right? Yeah. You know what? I'm curious to know if there's actually... I feel like I have a tool that came with the machine, like a littler screwdriver. But I might be able to do this on my own with this guy. Maybe not. I don't know how loose you have to go to get the... Okay, you don't have to go all the way loose. All right, so here is the old needle. Lovely. I don't know how long that needle's been in there, but let's replace it. Well, let's first of all see if this is the right kind of needle. Because look, there's 2 in here. Can you guys see that one of them has an etching on the top and one doesn't? So I'm like, all right, one of these is probably... This one says organ on it. So I feel like that one is probably definitely a needle for an overlocker. This one says 14. This one says organ 14 on it. So that is what it is. And they look the same. So let's put the new one in. And I'm going to assume that, like most sewing machines, it goes so that the flat side is pointing towards the back. Yes, that seems to be correct. Let's get the screw tightened up. Do any of you have a serger? The reason I really want this to work is because I want to be able to sew stretch fabrics. And I want to be able to sew t-shirts that fit me. Like, how amazing would it be to have a t-shirt that fits you perfectly? I would be thrilled if I had one of those. Oh my gosh, I tightened this up, and wouldn't you know, freaking needle fell out while I wasn't looking, and I don't know where it went. Oh my goodness. Oh, well, I just found a bunch more Serger needles in this little compartment. Hey, where did my needle go? Did anybody see it? I'm pretty sure this was the old one. It was over here. What the heck, you guys? I wasn't even looking, I guess. I hope it didn't fall into the machine. All right, well, we had a disappearing needle act. And that's freaking annoying. Oh, I see it. Oh my gosh, it's about in the worst place it could possibly be. Let me get some tweezers. And I can get the little screwdriver to make my life easier too. All right, here we go. Oh my gosh. Oh no, this is terrible news. All right. Well, took the foot off there to get a little more room to access this. Wow, it's like really lodged in there. Oh, okay. It fell through. Let's get it out from the bottom. So moving forward, I'm going to put this puppy under there, and hopefully it's not going to fall again. All right. Loosen this up. And maybe I'll be a smarty pants and I'll hold this in there while I screw it. Oh no! Let's do this too. Get it up as high as it goes. There we go. Now we're looking better. Gosh, did you know this is one of my hardest things to do, is put things in holes? It's super challenging. Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. Now that's pushed all the way up right there. And we're going to tighten this up. And what's interesting to me is that I thought when I started this, the needles were kind of at different heights, and they still kind of are. I wonder if they're supposed to be like that or not. So let's get this other one out of here. I have no idea if the two needles in a serger are identical or if they're different from each other. So let me get a good look at these two that were in here originally. Do they look like... Okay, they look like they're the same. So I'm actually curious now if maybe one of those needles wasn't set all the way up to the top of the needle hole. That's a possibility. And also, let me make sure that these say organ 14. Okay, they do. I'm just assuming that anything that says organ 14 is an overlock needle. Because this one came in like a thing that looked like this, and it didn't have any case, but we're just going based on, can you guys read it? It says organ 14 on that puppy. Right there. All right, let's get the right needle in here, and this one's going to be even harder. Okay, flat side facing toward the back again. And oh my goodness, my fingers. My fingers, my fingers, my fingers. This is really tough. It seems like pretty much everything with sergers so far has been tough. Threading it has been tough, but I did it. Now changing needles is tough, and I think I'm gonna do it, but there's no guarantees. I've been working at it for a while now already. I'm not quite there yet. Okay, so now this, I just want to see if it's up there all the way in. Because remember, they did start out like, hang on one sec. I don't think I'm able to do it that way. I kind of want to just get this thing out of the way, but I really can't. Okay, well, we're just going to call that all the way up in there. And, all right, that looks the same as what it looked like before, so I'm happy with this. Can you all see that there's two new needles in there? It looks like the right one goes down a little bit lower than the left one, and that's what it looked like before I swapped them. Okay, so we got fresh needles. That's very, very exciting. Now let me get this foot back on here, and then I'm going to try to do some more tinkering after we thread these doggone needles. Okay, foot goes on like how? I think you just go like this, yes? Yep. Okay. Now, threading. Loopers are really hard to thread on a serger, but if you have this little tool that's called a looper threader, it makes it way easier. So let me see if I can use the looper threader to thread the needles. I don't know if it's going to fit through the needle hole or if it's going to be too big. But I'm going to give it a shot. Let's see. Can you see it's like a little lasso? Little wire lasso. And it looks like that will... yeah, that'll fit through there. So let's do it like that. Use a little help. So this is going to be our left I froze for a second and my silly alarm went off. Okay, so we're looped into our lasso. Now let's try to get this to go through the needle hole. It's pulling on me. Get a little more slack. Okay. There we go. Thread came off as soon as I poked it through. Try it again. It's not really meant for the needles, I don't think, but I don't like threading needle eyes. It's not my favorite task, and any tool that can help is usually appreciated. All right, I lost it again, so it's not going to work for that. Let's try to get the thread through the eye of the needle and see how we do. Did y'all think that you were going to be watching someone try to thread a needle on a Sunday night? Speaking of, has anyone else here gotten a little case of the Sunday night blues or a little bit of the winter blahs? I feel like I'm teetering towards that, and it's not usually something that I look forward to, but we'll get there. We'll get to spring someday. I know it. All right, I'm like almost through, but oh my gosh, I got it. All right, let me use my tweezers to pull this thread through here because my fingers don't really work very well. All right, we got the needle thread. Let's do another one. Let's get this freaking right. Hang on a sec. This guy's got to go back there in this keeper. Yeah, like so. And then in that little thing. And now this guy's going to go through the left needle hole. Oh boy. It's a really difficult angle. I could try to put the knife up and get that out of the way, maybe. This is not cooperating. I might need to cut this thread and get the edge a little bit more blunt. Look it, that's the trick. Having a really blunt edge makes it easier. Or licking it makes it easier too. Let me lick it. Okay. Come on, come on. You know you want to get through that hole, don't you? I know you do. Just making it. Not easy for the fingers. Oh my gosh. This is when some people are like, I'm giving up. And sometimes giving up is a really good thing to do. Usually I just call it taking a break. But I feel like I really want to get this through here. I'm frankly quite frustrated that it's this difficult. Can't you tell how frustrated I am? Oh my gosh. I mean, the good news is I can actually see what I'm doing. There's enough light. It's just so frustrating when my fingers don't work well. And it's also super frustrating. This feels like it's not me, it's the thread. Okay, I got it now. Gotta be really careful not to accidentally pull it back out. And let's get the tweezers again. There. We're freaking threaded. Now let's get all these thread tails down below the little entryway. And, my friends, we got some new needles in there. I'm me grab some fabric and let's try to serge and see how it looks. Oh my, it's so exciting. All right, so let's do this first. Let's power this puppy on. We got light. Now I'm just gonna press the foot pedal for a few minutes here, a few moments. And let's see if we get a little interlock chain. I kind of think we're getting something back here, but what is going on exactly? What is this thread? That's really strange. Okay, let me keep going. What is happening? We've got this guy, and we've got this guy. And then we've got, here, is this one thread? Okay, that just came out the end. Cool. I think we're doing really good. Look it. This could potentially be going around the edge of our fabric. So let's give it a shot. And let me put my knife blade down again. Because what's cool, right, is a serger can finish the edge and also trim your seam allowance. So let's just say that I was sewing 2 pieces of fabric together and using a 5/8 inch seam allowance. That's what I would do. Align the edge of the fabric up with the 5/8. And this is for the left needle. You can choose either left needle or right needle. You would line it up there. But I guess we're going to use the left needle, and I'm not really sure what the difference is right now, but let's go. Well, I'm not sure what's going on, but does it seem like changing the needles helped? I don't know. I don't know. Here's what it looks like. Is this what it's supposed to look like when you serge the end of your fabric? One thing that would be real helpful for me, I think, is if I change the colors of the thread so that they weren't all black. But we can kind of look at this. So all this line going down here is the left needle. All this line going down here is the right needle. And the same thing on the back. But you can't... Oh, this is interesting. So on the back here, these are the looper threads that show on the back. And I think what's supposed to happen is one of them is like... I don't know if this looks good or not, but I kind of want to mess around with something and just play a little bit. So let me cut this out of here. And you know what I found out? I didn't really understand what differential feed was, but my serger has what's called differential feed. And so basically this can be at neutral, which means the feed dogs are going at the same speed as each other, or it can be changed so that I think any of these would be good to like gather the fabric, or maybe those ones, I can't remember. But basically what I can show you is that there's these front feed dogs and there's these back feed dogs. So when we're on neutral, they're going at the same speed, moving the fabric through at the same speed. Okay? Now when I go to 2, which is like the biggest differential, let's take a look at what that looks like. It seems like it looks about the same to me. Does it look any different to you? No, I don't think so anyway. Here, let me see again. This is at neutral. Okay, let me do 0.7 and see what happens. Looks the same. Huh. Okay, well, just forget everything I said about differential speed, because maybe mine doesn't work, or maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about. But let's fiddle around a little bit more. All right, so here's another thing. You can change the tension on all these different threads. So let me try to remember. These two are the looper threads, blue and green, and these two are the needle threads. And when I looked for 4 threads surging on this machine, it said set this one to 3 to 5, and these ones to 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 3. I'm pretty sure that's what it said. So I could potentially bump that up to 5, or I could bump it down to 3. And I could do all different kinds of things with the tension on these. And it's going to change what the stitches look like on here. So again, I don't even know if what we're working with here is any good or not. But let's try something. Let's just pretend that I'm trying to sew together 2 pieces of fabric. And let's just pretend and see what it looks like. So let me get, let me cut a piece of fabric here. Okay. And so we got 2 pieces. Just like we're going to sew, but instead of like sewing them together with the sewing machine, we're going to serge them together, and we're also going to cut off the seam allowance. So it's like an all-in-one. Let's see how we do. One thing that's happening is my fabric's getting like really wrinkled here. So I think there is a way to adjust how much pressure is on the presser foot, but I don't know if I really want to adjust it. Let's see how it turns out. Turns out really weird. So here's what it looked like at the beginning. It was kind of struggling to push through, and then it kind of like opened up a little bit at the end. We got a big pucker under there. So let's see now. Definitely a pucker that we don't want. And why are there like, we got some work to do. But I'm going to say that changing the needles was good. And I'm going to have to tinker around with this some more, because I don't even know what to change. Okay, thanks for watching. This is Babylock. Her name's Serger. No, it's called Dirty Sergie is her name. Her name is Dirty Sergie, and she's going to start working one of these days, because I have a lot of knit tops I want to sew, and also an 80s style jumpsuit. So thanks for watching. Happy sewing, happy crafting, and I'll see you later.